Another quick update from my location, and then we'll be out in a few minutes. The most latest is Russian warships steamed towards U.S. destroyers that launched the attack on Syria. And whether or not we're going to have a war, we'll see. Now, as I give you updates on various things, I'll give you another instance of the Corpus Christi Police Department that you could, this is all documented. A few years ago, and those that follow the site, I've talked about this before, but I never gave you the final update. A few years ago, my daughter's wallet was stolen and all of her ID, and they did ID theft on my daughter. So, my wife and my daughter themselves called the police and made a police report, and then they got all the records from Bells or whatever that people signed off. So they had video of the person who was using my daughter's ID, stole her credit cards. So they actually did more than the average person would do. They got all the documents. My daughter had to get a new credit card and all this stuff. But then they called down to the detectives, people who you pay, who do their own thing in this city. So then they kept asking, look, we have the records. Now, everybody knew, including me, because it was one of the street guys, and that took her ID. And they stole it here at the house. Either she dropped it by the car or they picked it up here. Now, everybody knew, including CCPD, who took it. And John, what was the final? So they had records, they had everything. The final result was they said to us, F you, in so many words. They run it. Do you understand? That was my daughter, Deborah Torello. For those of you on CCPD who see it as your toy and your game. Chief Markle, are you aware of that? Do you have any, all of the other cases you've seen me mention, when they all the way into the courts of Nueces County, where judges had said, no, you have falsified records here, suborned perjury, you have done many. So all of those things within a system bring judgment, because God's concerned with false testimony. And many of the prosecutions, Hayden case, and Mr. Skarka, former, but the CCPD, that's one example where they had everything to bring charges on. It was somebody I was helping, but they just decided to do what they wanted. Okay, that was my daughter's. Now, those that followed this blog for a while, you remember that. My daughter actually could tell you. So they were a little frustrated because, so they decide. If I could, the CCPD retirement system is city system. My retirement is statewide, which is Texas Municipal Retirement System. But back in the days, I'll mention this, back in the days, cities, municipalities could opt out of Social Security. Meaning, my retirement, what I put in every month to my fireman retirement, they took the same amount out and put it into Social Security. But the firemen, and I believe the police, in Corpus, they opted out. Houston, Texas opted out. They had a clause where you could opt out of Social Security. Now, we wanted to opt out as well, because I would have been putting double into my retirement. My retirement would have been double. But and why do I mention that? Because Dallas, you had a lot of problems with the Dallas retirement, and a lot of people quickly cashed out this last year, because the retirement in Dallas, again, is just with the city of Dallas for police. Corpus retirement's the same way. Any huge case, Corpus Christi, you have insurance for lawsuits, liabilities. But if you have a huge case and your insurance has to pay out tremendous amounts of money, like you settled with the Toomey case, and then Sheriff Kalin's still fighting because that family's suing, and And what you should be concerned with is departments that are doing their own thing in these particular instances. The other cases are civil rights violations, and instead of paying out and have a problem maybe like Dallas someday where the system goes defunct, you should correct the problems. Now I'll do this little quick update simply because, yes, Russian warships, the last I saw, had stormed the Rushtar Navy destroyers that launched the attack. And I don't know if these are bluffs or what, okay? But because of a lot that I've mentioned. So this is number 2. And I would like resolution, by the way, Chief Markle, why you had decided when we made a police report, my wife and daughter Deborah did, where you decided to just not to do what you wanted to do. Mr. Markle, please inform me why. You never responded back to my family. They gave you all the stuff. And they also had the person who used her credit cards. They had if they wanted, they would have had the video of it. And we knew who it was. So why do your men skirt law, sir? That's the question, because they should have done their jobs in that.